What is up, my OGs? Welcome back to the channel. Nguyen here. In this video, how not to get knocked the F out in boxing. 3 tips. And stay till the end and I'll give you guys a crazy bonus tip. Yo guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click on the notification bell to help support this channel and this amazing community that you guys are all part of. Appreciate that. Later. Tip number 1, guys. Earn your opponent's respect. So, what do I mean by respect?
Uh-oh, Richard! Oh, wow!
I mean that he has to know that you can hurt him. So how do you do that? As soon as you guys start the round, you gotta make your first 2-3 shots count. And by that, I mean you gotta hurt him. Not necessarily knock him out. Like if you do, well, good job. But I want him to feel it. You have to make your opponent feel the power. Make him respect you. That way he doesn't just walk all over you. He doesn't just come in as he pleases and does whatever he wants. You gotta put the fear in him. Obviously he's not gonna be scared, because if he was a scaredy cat, he wouldn't be there. But you wanna put enough fear where he knows that if he's not careful, he's gonna get cracked. So even if he blocks the punch, it's okay, but he has to feel it. So you gotta hit him 2-3 times, right out of the gate, hard, and then you can chill out. Now, even if it's technical sparring or light sparring, in boxing, guys, from my experience, as soon as guys have gloves on and the headgear, and then it's rounds, you're doing, let's say, 3 rounds of 2 minutes, people just get excited. So you gotta make them calm the F down. And the way you do that is not by going light and, feeling him out. No, you gotta earn his respect right out of the gate. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, guys, do not back up. So, what do I mean by that? I mean that when your opponent comes in with his combination, I don't want you to take more than 1 step back, and then from there, you gotta pivot out or you gotta take an angle on him. You gotta go lateral movement, okay? So you can pivot or you can take an angle, that's up to you. But you do not want to back up more than 1 step. It could happen that you back up 1 or 2, but you gotta keep this tip in your mind, this principle. So when the guy comes in with his combo, you wanna move back 1 step, at the most 1 or 2, and then after that you wanna get off to the side. And what this is gonna do is it's gonna allow you to get an angle on him, get out of the way, and then be in a position to attack. Now, what happens if you move back? So here's the thing. If you keep moving back, he's gonna keep coming forward. And eventually, one of his shots is gonna land. And you're gonna run out of space. You're gonna hit the ropes, and then you're gonna fall into a corner, and then you're gonna get a beatdown. That's what's gonna happen. Ask me how I know. Okay, so a very good habit to have is to really never back down, right? So he comes in, he throws his hands, okay, you block, you slit, or you take a step back, but then you have to move off to the side. You move off to the side by pivoting, you move off to the side by taking an angle. Worst case, you block that, okay? Block it, obviously. Then you clinch up. Then after that, your ref's gonna come in, it's gonna separate you, boom, you start all over again. But I don't want you to back up. And it also gives you a little bit of time to breathe. Tip number 3, guys. Blocking is the last resort. You heard me. Blocking is last resort. Now, defense doesn't necessarily mean blocking. Defense, the best defense is to actually move out of the way so you actually don't get hit. That's the best defense. So you have to use your feet, your head movement, your speed, your angles, your fight IQ to not be there, right? Because the name of the game is hit and not get hit. Now, if you're not able to do that, that's when you have to block. It kind of means you kind of screwed up in a sense. So now you block. But when you block, you have to understand that if you just stand there and block punches, one's gonna go through at one point, and it's gonna suck. And even if you, let's say you get a flurry of punches, 5, 10, and you just block them, those things still do damage to you. Those things hurt, and they're gonna rattle your brain regardless. They won't knock you out, but you'll still be messed up. So when you're blocking your punches, you gotta block with the idea in mind to move your feet, get an angle on them, and move out of the way. So once again, you don't wanna back up, right? Keep backing up, because then he's just gonna come after you and keep swinging. But you wanna create just enough space so you can get that angle, if you need to. So blocking is really last resort. Ask me how I know. Okay, so if you guys got to this point of the video, please take a second to like the video, subscribe, leave a comment if you want right away, and of course click on the notification bell. It helps this channel tremendously. It supports me in my content creation, and yeah, and I really appreciate it, man. Bonus tip, guys. So thank you for staying all the way until the end. This one's for you. So when you know there's gonna be a sparring session, it's either tomorrow or whenever, you gotta make sure that you're well rested and that you go in there ready for war. So what does that mean? It doesn't mean necessarily that you have to go in there and try to kill your opponent. It's a sparring. In a sparring, technically nobody wins. You're not there to show off, you're not there to kill your opponent. You're there to practice, to develop your skill set. But what happens in sparring is that you could control yourself if you get to a certain level. But your opponent, you never know how he's gonna do things. You could have sparred him maybe a few times and it went really well, he went light, it was all good. But then on that day, he decides to go a little bit harder and you get cracked because you weren't focused. So what I mean by mindset is that you gotta go in there ready. So using the 3 tips that we talked about, you have to go in there with those 3 things in mind. And on top of that, you have to be ready for war. Because if a war comes and you're ready, you're all good. But if you're not ready, you don't have this mindset, and then a war happens, it's gonna shake you up. It's gonna kind of break your spirit and break you mentally. And that's not good. And that's how you get hurt. So if you didn't get enough sleep and you're tired, I don't recommend you go. You cancel it. Unless you're somebody who's actually able to turn it on at the moment of sparring, right before, okay, fine. And the other thing is, if you're going in there nonchalant, I wouldn't recommend that either. Taking the whole situation, the whole thing too lightly. Because sparring in boxing gets intense, guys. I mean, all you're doing is trying to punch the other guy in the head. Sure, we got body shots, but everybody's basically headhunting. Like, they're cracking the body, but it's really just to open you up so they can punch you in the head. They want to drop them hands, you know what I'm saying? So, guys, if you're gonna spar, be ready. Focus and motivated. Go out there to perform, to have fun, to learn. Keep those 3 tips in mind, but don't go in there thinking it's gonna be easy peasy, right? I'd rather you guys be a little bit anxious and stressed, just a little bit, just so that it keeps you safe, than going in there too relaxed and getting knocked the hell out. All right, that's it for this video, guys. So if you enjoyed that and you found this content valuable, do me a solid. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification bell, leave a comment. It helps me a ton. Support the community, ask questions. If you disagree, let me know why. If you have something to add, let me hear it, and that's it for this one, guys. So, also, don't forget to follow me on TikTok, on IG, and my other YouTube channel called OG Fitness Clips. That's where I share like the stuff that I do daily, and you guys get to see like what I'm all about on a day-to-day basis. That's it, guys. Love you. Peace.